Hi there, Rick here. I was just reading an interesting story on the MS Money News here. Um, China is trying to create an artificial sun. Okay, uh, there's actually about seven other countries that are involved in this. Okay, but China is actually one of the main ones. Okay, so this is what the artificial sun looks like. Okay, um, right here. Okay, my mouse pointer on it. Okay. Um, it's it has it it's it's using fusion technology, okay, and plasma, okay. Um, they say here, okay, well, why isn't it used in commercial use right now? It's just saying that the device has to sustain stable operation for thousands of seconds. The plasma has to circulate in a self-sustaining manner. Okay, so it's they haven't worked out all the kinks yet in it. Okay, but imagine if they're saying that okay, it's a lot safer than nuclear, to create energy. Okay, um, it is quite interesting. Okay, just because it uses plasma technology. Okay, but the plasma technology is uh, I think a lot of countries have not really experimented with it, but it's nice to see. Okay, China is experimenting with it, and they're probably going to make some breakthroughs in it. Okay, and imagine if they're able to take um, this device to market. Okay, um, let's see here. Um, just want to go back because it was just saying how much energy it was creating. It was a lot though. See, in the article here it says by imitating the natural reaction of the sun, scientists hope to this that the technology will be able to produce an unlimited amount of clean energy. Okay. Um, that would be amazing. Okay. If, if China made this breakthrough, right? Because, look at how many countries need energy, right? And then, you have an unlimited amount of energy. Um, just imagine how much, you know, this this technology would be worth. Okay, easily in the billions and billions of dollars, right? Because look at how many countries need energy, right? Especially cheap energy. Okay, I know that China gets a lot of cheap energy. Okay, that's why they're able to outbid a lot of other countries in terms of things that are produced. Okay, because they get the energy for cheap, they make the product, and the product is not expensive because uh, they had a an advantage in getting cheap energy. Okay, I have seen. I think this was in India. Okay, they were having an energy problem in a particular city, um, and the hairdresser called the customer up saying, "Hey, I got power back. Come down now to the hair studio here and before it goes off because you can get uh, your your perm or your what you want done with your hair, right?" There was another person talking. He was a welder. Okay, he was just saying that it was really hard for him to run his business because there was intermittent power outages. Okay. I think he was saying there was about three during the day. Okay. But he was just saying that it was very difficult for him to run his business when it's like that. Okay. Um, there was another uh, person that was using a power generator. Okay. Just because they needed more of a reliable source of energy. Okay. But I think it wasn't that economical because, now the energy is costing more because you're running a generator, it's running on gas, right? Um, I was thinking of buying a generator at one time, um, just because, um, you never know when sometimes a disaster might happen, right? And then suddenly, okay, you don't have energy. Okay, how dependent are we in Canada? Um, how dependent are we on energy, right? Um, we use it to power computers. We use it to power our uh, we use it to power uh, our lights. Um, we use it for our cooking, right? Our stove. Um, a lot of cooking appliances that we need, right? Um, we use energy for that. So you can see that energy is um, very important. Okay. Um, imagine if, okay, uh, China does figure this out. Okay, they build some of these artificial suns, right? They export the energy to Europe. Um, imagine how much, wow, money they would make, right? Um, but remember too, there's seven other countries involved in this project as well. So it's not just China that would benefit from this breakthrough, right? But they said that China was, um, I guess, kind of like the main contributor to this project. Okay. Um, I think when I first heard about the story, I think it was a few years ago, actually. Okay. But it's amazing that um, it's nice to see that China is trying to make these breakthroughs in this new technology. Okay, because I don't want to think United States is experimenting in this sort of technology, this project, right? Um, it it would cost a lot of money. Okay, I don't. They would need the funding from somewhere, right? Um, I just don't think United States would um, think would fund a massive project like this. Okay, of course, China is doing it right, but remember too, they have help from funding from seven other countries, right? And maybe they're even offering technology in this sort of field as well too, right? Um, there would have to be a lot of, I would think, machinists, okay, because they have to um, they would have to make these parts, okay, and the engineers would design the parts. Machinists would make the parts, right? Um, because these parts, they just um, they don't exist, right? You would have to get somebody to make them for you. I know that's really expensive too, because I heard of some machinists charging as much as well, when I was in the window industry, okay, um, $60,000, $70,000, just for one part, okay, because say for instance a machine breaks down, okay, and the part in there, okay, um, you can no longer get it anymore. Okay, so I think you have to go to the machinist, and the machinist has to make it. Okay, now, I know that they charge a lot. Okay, for these type of parts, because one, they know that you need it in order to get your machine working again. Okay, you just can't go to Lord to go Auto Parts and pick up this part. Um, so you're very reliant on the machinist. Okay. Um, so I found this story very interesting, and you know, um, imagine if they do make this breakthrough, and they can supply an unlimited amount of energy, right? Um, so I heard that. I think. Well, I just heard that there's as much as 1 billion people, on planet Earth that don't have electricity. Yes, 1 billion people um, do not have electricity. Um, I think a lot of these people live in third world countries, right? But they just cannot. I was going to say, um, sometimes even run a business, right, without electricity. Um, they cannot, um, just live a more comfortable lifestyle without electricity, right? Um, Electricity is just so important these days. Um, without it, um, there would just be um, a lot more, I would guess, hardship.